you doing? Nice to meet you. It's an honor to talk to you. My name's Chris Jude. I'm from boxing.com, and so it's a big night for you here. What are some? Can you talk about some of the things you've been working on in camp and some areas you've been really stressing? Emphasize. Like, are there any areas as far as movement, speed? Yeah.
Yeah, when I train with Roy, we need to work on me, turning my punches over me, sending more shots and punching my feet. So that's one of the things I worked on and try to improve on this fight. I'm looking out for them. I'm gonna get the knockout. So.
What's Roy Jones's? You're working with a guy who's just so experienced and knows everything you need to know as far as what he's gone through in the ring. For you, what does that mean to you working with him? And also, as far as what's his mentality as a trainer? We know what he's like as a fighter, and you watched him as a fighter, so we know his mentality. But as a trainer, does he take a different approach?
He's real tough and he's serious when it comes to training with him. But he likes to work on things and he like to work until you get it right, steps. He don't want you to work on this and move it to something big. He like to work on baby step pretty much. So work on something, get that down packed, and move on something else. So it's serious and then no jokes or nothing. It's all work when you get in there training him.
What's the rapport as far as the connection, the bond? Was it something that clicked immediately, or you kind of had to get used to the way his approach?
I think with him it clicked immediately, especially when I fought down there in Florida with him. And just that connection that we had, it was something special. So when I went down there, it just felt like part of the family already. So when I go down there now, it's just natural to just have fun down there. We all family, cool.
For Roy, and one of the things with Roy and with a lot of pro fighters, it's sometimes difficult to make that transition to all the things that he did naturally, and then try to impart them on you. And but he seems like a pretty a guy who's very easy to get to know. But for you, was it sometimes ever frustrating to see these are things that he did instinctively, but it's going to take me a little bit of time?
Certain movement I already kind of had, but it's certain things that kind of frustrate you, and he wants you to get right, or you think you're doing it right, you're still doing it wrong. But sometimes he shows us footage of how he did it, how he set it up. But we're still working, so I'll get better.
What types of things did he talk about as far as the strategy, mindset for this evening?
He just wanted to come out, start throwing my jab. Don't all come out crazy. That's going to be his, fresh rounds too. But just come out, set up my shots, look for openings, and get the job done pretty much.
The jab itself is something that every fighter says, I want to establish the jab, but it's not always easy to maintain that jab. In your previous fights, have you been able to consistently maintain the jab throughout those first 5-6 rounds?
Oh yeah, I come out though my jabs. Most of my fights don't last that long, but when they do, for me it works good because I'm the longer and taller fighter most of the time. So that jab is very important for me.
What have you talked about as far as the direction of your career and the maturity level that you're looking for? I mean, everybody has a mindset. There's certain gradual progression of the career. What have you talked about with your corner?
What do you mean?
I mean, where do you want to be 5-10 fights?
Now, looking to be something big, be on TV and having that be known worldwide. So, future should be good.
And one other thing about going back to Roy a little bit, as far as within the context of the fight, and here he is. Movement. Are you someone who's defined by movement? Are you more of a come forward type of fighter? Fortunately, this is my first time seeing you. I wish I'd seen you before, but talk about the movement and how that defines you as a fighter as far as your style.
I'm more of a mover, pretty much.
He's versatile. Yeah. He's more of a mover now. But we're also working on being able to deal with it if we got to stand there and deal with it. So when we finish this project, he's gonna be versatile. He's gonna be able to do both. Now he's a little more of a mover when he wants to be, but he can stand that too.
As far as some of the skills that you're imparting now that are going to help him later, what's one of those things that you're establishing now that is not going to really help him now, but you're going to see progression over time?
Being able to fight anywhere in the ring, because with his style, with his body build, a lot of guys are going to want to get close to him. A lot of guys want to put pressure on him. A lot of guys are gonna try to manhandle him because he's more tall and rangy. So you expect guys to do that because that's what I used to get. But he's learning how to deal with all of that. So they want to come fight like that, he can fight like that. They want to try to outbox him, he can fight like that. So my goal is to teach him to be able to fight any type of fighter that comes in that ring in front of him on any given night.
How many fights does it really take a young fighter to really get a feel for the different types of styles that they're going to face? Because you can tell him to do certain things in the ring, but until he faces that, then that becomes reality.
It depends. He's the type of fighter that's been fighting since he was a little kid, so he's basically seen everything. It's more of a matter of how to deal with it when you're fatigued. Because when you turn professional, you don't really see much that you haven't seen, but you do see it dealing with fatigue while you're doing it. That's the difference.
You worked with some good trainers. A lot of the things at a certain point in your career you knew how to do, and you were saying, you know, how much am I actually taking from those trainers? For you, what's the one thing you learned from your trainers that now you're taking and you're imparting in your young fighters?
The one thing I learned from my trainer, which was my father, is that if you can touch him, you can hit him. And that's what I try to teach all my young fighters, because everybody wants to land power shots. But power shots are nothing if you can't land them. So you have to be able to touch a guy in order to be able to hit him. If I can't touch him, how can I hit him?
Let me ask you one thing. What do you know about your opponent tonight? And is it regular for you to really study your opponents before fights, or are you just saying, you know, that fighter's gonna have to adapt to me?
I mean, I'll check out a couple of his videos. But like you said, he don't have to adapt to me because I don't think he never fought somebody as tall and long as me, so it's gonna be something different for him. But I already kind of see how he fights, so I'll be prepared.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Nice meeting you guys.
All right.